Good evening. My name is Julian Oldacre, and today I'm going to be talking about anxiety. When sitting down to decide my topic for my final essay, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew it wanted to be something that had resonated with me. Anxiety has affected me a lot throughout my life, especially related to school. I thought this was pretty ironic that I'd be making a presentation on anxiety, but it has been made much easier for me because it is an online course. Today, I'd plan to discuss what anxiety is, what it does, where it comes from, and how to cope with it. Anxiety is a physiological and psychological response to the mind and body due to when a stressful or traumatic event occurs. I'm sure all of us have experienced anxiety at one point or another, whether it's going to a new school, a new class, a new job, or just being in an unfamiliar group. An anxiety disorder differs from anxiety and is characterized by a persistent feeling of anxiety or impending doom that typically doesn't subside when you realize the severity of the situation. There are three main types of anxiety disorders. These include generalized anxiety disorders, obsessive-compulsive disorders, and traumatic or stressor-related disorders. A generalized anxiety disorder is characterized by an overarching sense of fear. An obsessive-compulsive disorder is characterized by persistent unwanted thoughts, also known as obsessions. A traumatic-related or stressor-related disorder differs from these because of how closely related they are to the event that occurred. There are two main kinds of stressors, the first of which being an acute stressor. An acute stressor is a brief and overwhelming event, and one of these could be spilling a glass of orange juice or milk. The next kind of stressor is a chronic stressor. These are much more severe and persistent over a long period of time. Examples of chronic stressors could be going to prison or being unemployed for an extended period of time. Daily hassles are any minor inconveniences associated with daily life. The cause of anxiety has been linked to several different factors, and for an individual, one of these factors could be the cause or a mix of several. The first fact I want to talk about is genetics. Whether it's your mom, grandma, sister, or whoever in your bloodline, if somebody born before you has anxiety, you are more likely to have it yourself. The second factor I would like to talk about is a traumatic event or stressor that's happened in your life. The third thing that could cause anxiety is certain medications or substances with bad side effects. Anxiety affects every individual differently, but some of the most common effects include trembling, sweating, rapid breathing, an intense heart rate, or many others as well. Anxiety can also come with much more severe effects as well. Some of these include thyroid issue, respiratory issue, heart disease, drug misuse, and more as well. Many have found success in helping with their anxiety by making lifestyle changes. Two things to avoid if you suffer from anxiety include caffeine, which is found in coffees, teas, and pops a lot, and medications or substances that have negative effects. Regularly exercising has proved extremely beneficial for many people who suffer from anxiety. There are many different coping techniques, and some of them are listed here, while others are listed in the resources in a slide farther down. The most helpful coping technique that I have personally found is box breathing. It consists of inhaling nasally for 4 seconds, holding that breath for 4 seconds, then breathing out of your mouth for 4 seconds. After that, you hold your breath for another 4 seconds before repeating the process several times. Therapy is also often a different outlook on treating anxiety and reworking the way you think to prevent anxious thinking. For most, it's a mix of these lifestyle changes and coping techniques that truly help somebody cope with anxiety and handle it themselves. It takes a lot of patience to get through your anxiety, so make sure you give it time. The first resource I have found for people struggling with anxiety is the National Institutes of Mental Health, also known as the NIMH. The phone number is below and is a 24/7 hotline for anybody who is struggling mentally. The second resource I've located is the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, the ADAA. The website link is below and it shows what causes anxiety, what you can do to cope with anxiety, and many more as well. Throughout my personal experiences along with my research, I've learned a lot about anxiety. I've learned that coping with it and learning how to deal with it is a long process that takes patience. Living with anxiety can be exhausting, so sometimes it is important to focus on little acute stressors like spilling milk or a glass of water is really not important in the big scheme of things, and they have no effect over your life. Here's my works cited page. Thank you.